Has this ever happened to you? You're talking to a woman. The conversation is flowing. The energy feels electric, and then she leaves. And an hour later, you're sitting alone thinking, wait, was she into me? You're not alone in that. Most men miss the signals women give off, not because they're oblivious, but because those signals are specifically designed to be subtle. And unless someone breaks them down for you, they're almost impossible to read in the moment. So today, that's exactly what we're doing. I'm breaking down the 5 things women do, only when they're genuinely interested in sleeping with you. And here's the part most people don't expect. These signals work just as clearly with a woman you've been with for years as they do with someone you just met for the first time. But before we get to the 5 signs, we need to talk about something even more important. Why do women send mixed signals in the first place? Why not just say it directly? There are 2 real reasons, and once you understand them, everything else starts to make perfect sense. The first reason is that many women genuinely believe they are being direct. Because of the fundamental differences in how men and women communicate, a lot of women don't even realize their signals aren't landing clearly. What feels like a neon sign to her reads like background noise to him. She thinks she's practically spelling it out. He has no idea anything is happening. Then there's the second type of woman, the one who knows she's being indirect, and honestly wishes she could just say it. But she's been conditioned not to. She's trying not to come on too strong. She's trying to be polite. She's protecting herself from the very real possibility of rejection or being judged for showing desire openly. She's playing the game the way it was written for her. And even if we all agree that the game is outdated, most of us are still playing by those same old rules. The point is, instead of saying, I want to sleep with you, or even, I really like you, most women find ways to give you small, deliberate green lights. Some are subtle, some are flirtatious, some are practically screaming at you. And in this video, I'm going to decode all of them. But here's the most important thing to understand before we dive in. Every single one of these signals is permission-based. They are all a woman's way of saying, hey, I'm open. Are you going to make a move? Now, the second reason women signal this way is slightly more complex, but it makes total sense once it clicks. A lot of women have what's known as responsive desire, meaning they are turned on by your desire for them. Being genuinely wanted, being the object of a man's attraction, is one of the biggest turn-ons that exists, almost as powerful as the drive for pleasure itself. And what that means in practice is this. In order to unlock her deepest level of attraction, she needs you to take the lead. Her subtle cues, her small, they're an invitation for you to demonstrate your confidence, your leadership, your willingness to step forward. She's creating a safe enough environment for you to signal your desire and then act on it. She's setting the stage and handing you the spotlight. So with that context in mind, here are the 5 things a woman will only do when she wants to sleep with you. Number 1, her body language opens up to you. This might sound obvious, but it's important enough to put first, because most men are watching the wrong things. Before she ever touches you, before she says a single flirtatious word, her body is already communicating. When someone genuinely captures our interest, we physically open ourselves toward them. It's instinctive. It happens before the conscious mind even gets involved. So here's what to look for. She turns her hips and chest toward you even in a group setting where she could be facing anyone. She makes eye contact that lasts a second longer than it needs to. She tilts her head slightly or subtly exposes her neck. These aren't random movements. They're ancient signals of trust and physical availability. Her body is literally orienting itself toward yours. Some of this is conscious and deliberate. A lot of it is completely unconscious. But when you see these gestures forming a consistent pattern, not just once but repeatedly throughout your interaction, that is attraction. So what do you do when you notice it? Don't rush. Don't pounce. Think of it like the opening moves of a chess game. She put a piece on the board. Your job is to put one back. Mirror her open body language. Hold eye contact just a moment longer than feels safe. Let her see that you noticed and that you're interested too. That's how the game begins. Number 2, she gets physical and lingers. This is where things move up the scale significantly. Touch is one of the clearest nonverbal signals that exists, and most women know, whether consciously or not, that they need to be the one to initiate the first physical contact. It removes the ambiguity. It gives you something to respond to. So if she touches your arm during a laugh, puts her hand on your shoulder when she's making a point, lets her knee rest against yours without pulling away, that's not an accident. That's a bridge being built. But here's where a lot of men second-guess themselves. Some people are just naturally touchy. What if I'm reading this wrong? That's a fair concern. And here's the distinction that matters: the linger. It's that extra beat of contact. That moment where the touch doesn't end when it logically should. The difference between a hand on your arm that pulls back immediately and one that stays just a second longer than necessary. That extra moment is the signal. That's the difference between friendliness and flirtation. And it gets even clearer when she starts finding excuses to touch you. She picks something invisible off your jacket. She fixes your collar. She brushes your hand when passing something to you. She's not doing these things by accident. She's testing the water, seeing how you respond, finding out if you're going to reciprocate. So when you notice it, mirror it. Gently, naturally. Fix the clasp of her bracelet. Move a strand of hair out of her face. Find moments in conversation to emphasize what you're saying with light physical contact. Let her know you're comfortable being close to her. That's all it takes. You're not making a move, you're making her feel safe enough to keep escalating. Number 3, she creates opportunities to be alone with you. This is a green light that men miss constantly, because it rarely looks like what they expect. She doesn't walk up and say, let's go somewhere private. She's far more subtle than that. Instead, she lingers after the party winds down until the two of you are the last ones standing. She follows you toward the bar or the door. She tells you almost casually that her roommate is out of town this weekend and that you should really come by to see her place sometime. These are not coincidences. These are setups. Women are exceptionally good at engineering moments, creating pockets of space and privacy where something could happen. They won't initiate directly, but they will arrange the conditions so that you can. That's the move. So if you find yourself alone with her or even just in a semi-private corner of a crowded room, recognize it for what it is. You can even be playfully direct about it. Look at her with a slight smile and ask, "Are you trying to get me alone?" It breaks the tension. It names what's happening. And if she laughs and doesn't immediately deny it, you have your answer. If that feels like too big a step, simply use the privacy she's created. Get a little closer. Lower your voice. Create an inside joke. Lean in like you're sharing a secret. Build a small world between just the two of you. These micro moments of intimacy are exactly what she was creating space for. Number 4, she singles you out emotionally. Here's something most men forget. Sex isn't purely physical, especially for women. Emotional connection is often the gateway. And when a woman is genuinely interested in you, she will use her words to make you feel like you exist in a different category from every other man in the room. She'll say things like, "I don't usually open up to people this fast." Or, "There's something about you I feel like I can actually be myself around you." Or, "I don't know why, but I just feel really comfortable with you." Now I know what some of you are thinking. Couldn't she say that to a friend? Yes, she could, which is why you're looking for patterns, not individual moments. One signal doesn't confirm anything. But when she's already turning toward you, already finding reasons to touch you, already engineering alone time, and then she looks at you and says something like that, that's not a coincidence. That's an open door. This is also the perfect moment to walk through it. Respond authentically. Mirror her vulnerability just enough to show you're paying attention. Say something like, "I feel that too, there's definitely something different happening here." Or simply, "I'm glad you feel that way." You're not making a grand declaration. You're just confirming that you're both in the same room emotionally. That's all she needs to feel seen. Number 5, she leaves the door open to escalation. This is the final signal, and it's the one that separates the men who go home alone from the ones who don't. She creates a moment. Deliberately. Sometimes it's a casual phrase, "It's getting late, but I really don't want the night to end." Sometimes it's a look. The kind of slow, slightly held gaze that doesn't need any words attached to it. Sometimes it's a playful, "So, what do we do now?" These are not throwaway comments. These are invitations. She has orchestrated a moment where you can step forward and she's waiting to see if you will. And this is where a lot of men completely freeze. They can feel the energy in the room. They sense something is supposed to happen, but they hesitate. They waffle, and that hesitation, that indecision is what breaks the spell. So here's the key. When you feel that moment arrive, take a breath and make a decision. You don't have to commit to the whole night. You're not signing a contract. You're just choosing the next step. Ask if you can kiss her. Suggest continuing the night somewhere else. Or if you want to keep it low pressure, say simply, "I'm really attracted to you and I want to keep exploring this." One honest, direct sentence. That's it. You're not overwhelming her. You're just stepping into the space she created for you. And here's the thing most men don't hear. Enough even if she pulls back at this point. It doesn't mean the night was a failure. If you escalated respectfully, incrementally, reading every step of the way, you've done everything right. A graceful exit is still a good outcome. You both walk away without awkwardness. And you've practiced something most men are too afraid to even attempt. Here's the bigger picture before we close. Women are not going to announce their desire with a loudspeaker. But that doesn't mean they're not showing you. Constantly, in 100 small ways, the body language that opens toward you, the touch that lingers just a moment longer than necessary, the private moment she engineers, the emotional admission that places you in a different category, the quiet invitation that asks you to step forward. These are the signals. All you have to do is learn to read them and then have the confidence to respond. One last thing. Not every flirtation ends in something physical. People flirt for all kinds of reasons, sometimes just for the thrill of it. And that's okay. Don't go into every interaction expecting a specific outcome. Instead, enjoy the process. Flirting is genuinely one of the best parts of being alive. It sharpens your instincts, builds your confidence, and makes even an ordinary Tuesday night feel electric. And if she does pull back after you've made your move, don't make it mean something it doesn't. You don't fully know what's going on in her world. Don't walk away deciding that all women are impossible to read, or that you're hopeless at this. You're not. Review what happened, learn from it, and get back out there. Stay present. Trust your instincts. Escalate with confidence and care. And when the moment arrives, don't let it pass you by. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the button now. More insights on attraction, dating, and connection every week. I'll see you in the next one.